Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler, author of A Saga on Home Video, a fan's guide to US Star Wars home video releases with plenty of foreign release sidebars. Available now in a 3-volume, either Kindle, paperback, or hardback second edition over on Amazon.com. What we're looking at this time is something that, if you're interested in this type of thing, is covered a little bit, but not extensively, in Volume 3. And that is a screener. We talked about screeners a bit before. They're basically things that are used to promote a release. It might be a screener that goes to a store where basically they get a chance to see something to decide whether they want to carry that item in the store. It might be a copy of a film or a documentary or a TV episode or whatever that perhaps goes out for Academy Award consideration or Emmy consideration to the people who are voting on it. It might be something to promote a company. It really just kind of depends. It's basically just stuff that's designed for promotional purposes primarily, rather than being something designed for retail release. Sometimes internal to a company, sometimes sent to reviewers, sometimes sent to award voters, sometimes sent to the press. It really just kind of depends. And we've seen all different types. The types and some of the ways that they are approached are touched on in Volume 3. We don't go extensively into all the different possible screeners out there, not even all the ones that I happen to have in my possession, because it's really not apropos for the discussion the way the book is set up. So what we're seeing here is something that's actually outside the purview, for the most part, of A Saga on Home Video, though we've seen some early permutations of it in A Saga on Home Video first and second edition and on the show. So what is it? What have we seen here previously that I'm alluding to that has some new permutation we haven't seen before? It's a documentary entitled Empire of Dreams. And you may recall that Empire of Dreams was one of the big draws for the bonus material disc for this set back in 2004. It's the first time the original trilogy was ever on DVD, and rather than giving each film its own bonus disc, instead there was one bonus materials disc for the whole trilogy. And on that disc, which contained a lot of stuff, was the Empire of Dreams documentary. It was the biggest thing on that disc, and you could have gotten it with that silver packaging, the silver themed packaging in the US within the widescreen edition, or in that full screen equivalent. You could have also gotten it with that golden packaging scheme, just to match the packaging of the set itself. And I said that's the US because in a lot of other regions they only had widescreen, so this was their regular. And for instance, like in the UK, a golden one would have been from HMV as an exclusive, but still widescreen inside. Didn't matter because there was nothing widescreen or full screen about the bonus disc itself. It was just about the label and about the packaging matching the outer packaging. But that was basically a very long version of that documentary, about 2.5 hours long or so. Really, really great. Technically, it's supposed to be about the full breadth and scope of the original trilogy, but really, for the most part, it's focusing very heavily on A New Hope. But one of the better Star Wars documentaries that we got a chance to see sort of premiering on DVD. But it wasn't only found through DVD. They also aired it on television. But it was an edited, truncated version that was more basically like about an hour and a half long. Now, that one was not available at retail, that 90-minute version, but you could find it in 2 different formats as screeners. These are the ones I mentioned in A Saga on Home Video first and second edition. There was a VHS Emmy Awards screener, which is the finished version of it, because sometimes screeners are not finished. This is a finished version of the 90-minute version from A&E that you could get on VHS, if you can find it, or DVD. I have it in a protective cover here. Basically, it was a DVD on a card, and then the facing page was another card put together, all within a bigger package of screeners for A&E. But there's a DVD and a VHS version of a screener for this, but it's the 90-minute version of it. It's not the full one that we see on DVD. Now, there is another way to watch this. It's actually fairly easy to come by today, which is on Disney+. But the Disney Plus version, while being closer to the runtime of the DVD version, actually has been edited for content slightly and includes a warning right before it that it has been. So essentially there's 3 different versions of Empire of Dreams out there. There's a DVD version, the screener version for Emmy consideration, and the Disney Plus version. Well, turns out there is another. But not another cut, just another way to get your hands on it. And it was one that I hadn't seen before until Jeff Rabjohns pointed me to it on eBay. I'd actually seen a Blu-ray equivalent of this in the hands of another collector, though, on the Star Wars Home Video Facebook group. Richter, I can't say your last name for the life of me, so Richter B. over on the Star Wars Home Video Facebook group actually has a Blu-ray version of this with different packaging as well. Who knows if I'll ever get my hands on one of those. But what we have here is yet another way of seeing Empire of Dreams that is yet another screener. Essentially, it's a promotional DVD. I don't know if you'd call it a screener. It is a screener in the sense that it is for promotion, not for sale. So in that sense, it does sort of fit the definition of a screener. That is this. Okay? We have here, as I try to turn it away from reflection, Star Wars Empire of Dreams, the story of the Star Wars trilogy. Up at the top it says, a making of masterpiece. Time. Star Wars Empire of Dreams, the story of the Star Wars trilogy. Luke and Vader there from Empire. The spine, C-3PO up at the top, oddly enough. Same image used here. Up at the top, it says Empire of Dreams, the story of the Star Wars trilogy. And then down here, kind of tiny, very difficult to read, especially the small print, Prometheus Entertainment, one of the companies involved in producing the documentary, has put this out to promote the documentary and their role in it. It appears to be an in-house produced promotional DVD. Then on the back here, you've got fascinating, charming, amusing, variety. And then about it, which we'll take a look at here. Highlights include, which we'll take a look at. Cast crew type information, different images from the film. It is 2004, Lucasfilm Limited, all rights reserved, etc., etc., Prometheus Entertainment. And legal text down here that includes for promotional use only. Okay, so this is a promotional DVD. The text up here says, the name Star Wars represents the most successful motion picture franchise ever created. Along with its sequels, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, Star Wars revolutionized the motion picture industry, forever changing the way movies are made, sold, marketed, and licensed. And yes, Star Wars, aka A New Hope, and The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, they revolutionized the motion picture industry. They were masterpieces. Don't mention Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones at all, despite this being 2004. Says something. The story of Star Wars is, in fact, the story of the most successful independent film ever produced. It's as inspirational as the groundbreaking film saga itself. The story of a small-town boy who takes on an empire, capital E, and wins. Highlights include intimate interviews with filmmakers George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Alan Ladd Jr., Irvin Kershner, composer John Williams, and cast members of the Star Wars trilogy, including Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Anthony Daniels, and James Earl Jones. Screen tests featuring a wealth of recognizable actors who auditioned for Star Wars. Never-before-seen outtakes and revealing behind-the-scenes footage documenting the triumphs and travails of filming a space epic that reinvented special effects technology. Early footage of the Van Nuys, California Office of Industrial Light and Magic and its meteoric rise as the industry's premier special effects company. Pretty cool. And then inside, no insert or anything, just the disc. And the disc is, as is often the case for promotional use screeners that are produced in limited numbers by the company itself, a DVD-R, infinity and beyond. Here we go. Star Wars Behind Empire of Dreams, a story of the Star Wars trilogy, Prometheus Entertainment, DVD video. Down at the bottom, again, promotional use only and legalese kind of stuff down there. But you put this in, and the question is, what is it? Right? There's 3 different versions of this thing. Now, obviously, it's 2004. It won't be the Disney Plus censored cut. But still, is it the 90-minute one that was available on here with the C-3PO that is mirrored over here? Or is it the one from the DVD that is about an hour longer? It is the DVD version. This is the finished cut. Now, there's no menus on here or anything. You just pop it in, play it, and it's done. It's split across 2 different titles on the DVD design. But, yeah. So if you're interested in Empire of Dreams, interested in an oddball screener of it, and you're kind of tired of seeing the same old screeners around that float around quite often for this one on VHS and slightly less common on DVD, and you don't want to have to keep digging out your giant box sets to be able to deal with it, well, this is another option out there. Apparently incredibly rare, so good luck finding it. I don't know when the heck I'm going to find the Blu-ray version of it, but there is another one out there. Again, the promotional use screener, or whatever you want to call it, promotional use DVD, produced in-house on a DVD-R for Prometheus Entertainment to promote Star Wars Empire of Dreams. Fun stuff, great documentary. Still wish we saw more documentaries that have been aired on television, released on something other than screeners in the US, like this one was at least here, but at least there's another way to get one of the greats out there for your collection. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.